So after covering Goku's transformation into the state of being known as Ultra Instinct earlier, on this video I want to continue our discussion on this development by focusing specifically on the power and the mastery and really focus on what Ultra Instinct actually is, using all the information that the series has told us so far. Hey guys, if you want to hear my deconstructions and breakdowns of other things that I love like movies, TV, wrestling, and life, then be sure to check out my brand new channel, World of Geekdom. I will leave a link down below. So like I said, we've already discussed what actually happened to Goku to break his limits in Dragon Ball Super Episode 110. If you have not watched that video, check it out. That is the first video in a multiple part series, a 3-part series on the Ultra Instinct form. This is the second video in that series where we're going to discuss what the Ultra Instinct power actually is. And let's actually tackle that topic first. The big subject of debate that I've seen is whether or not Ultra Instinct is a transformation or just a power-up or a state of being. The answer is it's actually kind of both. Ultra Instinct is a very different type of, I guess, happening, for lack of a better term, in Dragon Ball. So let's talk about what it actually is. The idea behind Ultra Instinct, otherwise known as Migate no Gokui, otherwise known as mastery of self-movement or the secret of selfishness, is a concept that was first brought about in the series way back during the Resurrection F portion of the story, both in the film as well as in the TV version. When Whis is training with both Goku and Vegeta, he makes quick work of both of them without breaking a sweat, and the concept behind why Whis is so fast was explained back then. So fast that Whis was able to sign his initials or his symbol on Goku and Vegeta's training garb as he was fighting them. So this is a different level of speed. The main issue is that when these guys fight, they think too much as they fight, and doing so limits their speed. That short millisecond, that very small time when the brain sends signals to the body to perform a move, is slowing down the way that these guys fight. There's too much time in between the brain making the decision and the body reacting to that decision. Master Whis tells them that ideally, you should let your body react independently of your mind, every limb and every body part acting on reflex and instinct versus actual thought and focus and strategy. And then Whis says that even Beerus has been unable to perfect this as of now. During the recent Dragon Ball Super manga chapter where Beerus had a rumble with the other gods of destruction, it appeared like Beerus was using this, at least as far as fighting multiple opponents with incredible speed. Even though it wasn't outwardly stated, it's still implied by many and believed by many to be the case. And honestly, I can't really argue it because Beerus did look impressive, but what we saw from Goku in the Dragon Ball Super anime was not exactly the same thing. Now, as far as who currently has this technique or this ability mastered, we know for certain that Whis not only knows how to do this pretty much naturally at this point, but he also can teach it to his students. First, of course, Beerus, and then Goku and Vegeta in the future. But he's not the only one. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 28, when Vegeta and Goku first meet Vados, Vegeta states that Vados has fully guarded herself, and she must be as skilled as Whis. So even though we cannot speak for all of the other angels, we haven't seen them in action yet, we know for certain that some of the angels absolutely have mastery of the Ultra Instinct, and it's presumed that the Grand Priest does too, not just based on the fact that he has a very high knowledge of this state of being, but the fact that Whis has talked about how the Grand Priest is one of the strongest in all of the Omniverse, even higher than himself. So you would think if Whis knows how to do Ultra Instinct, it would be a piece of cake, a walk in the park, so to speak, for the Grand Priest. We haven't seen it yet, but it's easy to assume that based on what the series has told us. Now, when Goku broke his limits and transformed into this state of being, remember, it's both a transformation and a state of being, he acted very different than he did before. Besides just the interesting glow coming off of his body and his newly acquired speed and accuracy, he seems to be sort of in a zombified state. Goku barely spoke, didn't even speak a word now that I think about it, and when he was screaming and growling, you heard this sort of like echo, this really deep and kind of scary sounding echo almost as if Goku was becoming a monster. And then when he, of course, lost the power and Vegeta asked him about it, Goku had no idea what happened. And let's not forget the silver eyes, too. Prior to Goku breaking his limits, he had no chance against Jiren. But when he was able to use Ultra Instinct, he was able to hang in there and actually deliver a couple of blows to Jiren. Not to mention that he was able to deflect blows from the incredibly fast and powerful Topo and Dispo respectively without even thinking twice about it. And that's the entire secret behind this form, is that you're not supposed to think. You go into a state of mind where your entire body reacts on reflexes and on instinct versus actual thought. And a lot of this is based on real life science, specifically the science of instinct or intuition. When you have intuition, it's basically the ability to acquire knowledge without conscious reasoning. It's a different part of the brain where your memory is. So even though Goku has had all of this knowledge of combat and had several different martial arts instructors throughout the years, starting with Grandpa Gohan in Dragon Ball all the way to Whis in Dragon Ball Super, this is something different. This is acting on instinct and not on memory. So during Goku's little scrap there with Jiren in episode 110, both Gohan and Vegeta, two characters that are very familiar with Goku when it comes to combat, both make note that these movements are nothing like Goku's traditional way of fighting. Gohan himself says that not only is Goku fast, but Gohan couldn't even sense him moving to attack. Now, without getting into the secrets of fighting and things like that in this video, that will be another video coming up, part 3 of this series. There are certain ways in real life combat, when you fight somebody, to actually predict their movements based on a slight hesitation before they deliver the strike. If you're a trained MMA fighter or a martial artist, you know what I'm talking about. With this power, the movements, the blocks, and the dodges cannot be predicted because they're so fast. In fact, pay attention to when Goku goes in on Jiren and notice that they're so fast that it appears like Goku and Jiren are just staring at each other and barely moving. But no, that's not what's going on. There are blows being thrown, but at a speed that is significantly beyond anything we've seen before. I mean, forget the speed of light, man. That's yesterday's news. And as they fight, Piccolo remarks that Goku continues to evolve. Now, the night that the episode came out, there was a Dokkan card released in Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle that referred to this as Ultra Instinct Omen. So it's presumed that this is not even Goku with complete mastery of the form or complete mastery of the power just yet, if it's Ultra Instinct Omen. One of the clues that was given to us with the Dokkan card is that it did not have an awakening, at least not yet. Could it be that they are hiding the awakening for the moment when Goku finally learns how to master Ultra Instinct and can now use the power without it being a freak accident? That remains to be seen, but I think it's a safe bet. So we already went over how the Grand Priest, Whis, Vados, and Beerus know about this form or this state of being, and Champa knows, and a few of the other gods know. Not all of them, but a few of the other ones know, and it's hammered home to us in the series that even gods, even deities, have trouble reaching this level of ability. And thus, for a mortal to do it is ridiculous to them. And of course, that to me hammers home that Jiren, without question, knows and possibly even has mastered the Ultra Instinct power, because I don't feel that it's possible to keep up with somebody who has Ultra Instinct if you don't have it yourself. The speed is just too much, and Jiren was able to hang in there with Goku. I just don't see any way that Jiren could naturally be that fast without having knowledge of what this mastery of self movement actually is. Conceptually speaking, this whole idea comes from a Japanese word called Mushin, which translates to no mind. It is a state of no mindness, or the mind without a mind, which I think Toriyama represents into the series visually by having Goku have silver eyes, almost as if his vision is sort of glazed out. And again, like I said earlier, he's kind of a zombie. And when you are in Ultra Instinct or in Mushin as a fighter, you're not relying on what you think should be your next move or what you think should be your next block or strike. You are reacting to what is your trained natural reaction. And in real life, this can be achieved, but it takes years and years and years of repetition to where it leaves one part of the brain, it being memory, goes into the instinctual side and becomes a part of your central nervous system. This is all real in a way, and Dragon Ball's incorporating it, and of course they're magnetizing it because, well, none of us can throw a punch faster than the speed of light. Maybe Chuck Norris, but that's about it, right? Ultra Instinct, like Mushin, is flawless execution of moves, which is why Whis, when he does it, does not even, blink when he's able to do it, and which is why Goku and Jiren were both able to fight each other so evenly, because they both know Ultra Instinct without question. So that concludes part 2 of a 3-part series on what Ultra Instinct actually is and what the series has taught us. In part 3 of this series, I'm going to get with my buddy Kendamu, and we're going to dig through the history of martial arts and talk more about not just Mushin, but also we're going to talk about Bruce Lee and the art, the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, and really discuss Toriyama's influence here. I think you guys will enjoy that very much. Thank you for watching this video. Check out the other video I did about Goku's transformation and how he was able to attain this state of mind known as Ultra Instinct, the mastery of self-movement, and I look forward to discussing this in the coming weeks and months as we see the evolution of Goku and Jiren in the Tournament of Power. I'm sure we'll talk about this again in the future. Thank you. Take care of yourself and each other, and have a great rest of your day.